Um, got a few reminders I'll share with you. The ladies class will run through the end of May. That's Wednesdays, 10 a.m. in here. This Sunday, the senior class banquet will be in here after morning services for Emma and Hunter. There'll be a meal provided, and the gift baskets are in Debbie's office if you want to drop off a gift for those kids in there. Also, this Sunday night, movie night, right? This Sunday, God's Not Dead, We the People. That'll start at 5. Popcorn will be provided. And we are collecting paper towels for the Children's Home of Lubbock. And if you want to bring those by the office, they'll pick those up on June the 7th. I sent you an email. I got an email a while ago for an update on Lou Stevens' address. So we can email that out tomorrow. They've got a new address for her, but I can't give it to you because it's on my phone, and my phone's over there on Facebook. So Lou Stevens, we got a new address for her that we'll send out and put in the bulletin, I'm sure, for Sunday. Is there any announcements that I didn't make? We didn't have any sick that were new that we knew of. Is there anybody that we need to mention? That's a good thing, isn't it? All right. Well, let's travel on in Acts tonight. We're going to finish up where we kind of started last week. This week we see that Paul, he devises a plan to try to bring believers both with a Jewish and a Gentile background together. And Paul knows from things that he's hearing that the church in Jerusalem is struggling constantly and with financial needs. So Paul comes up with a plan to go to some more of the more wealthy Gentile mission places that he's been in order to try to collect funds that he was planning on taking back to Jerusalem himself. And this week we read about a guy, his name's Demetrius, and he and his friends live in Ephesus, and they're silversmiths. They make their living by making images of the Greek gods. And apparently, from how the story kind of goes, it seems that many people have given their life to Christ and are living a Christian life because the sale of these shrines has dropped dramatically, and it's hurt his business. So Demetrius orders this public protest, and even though his real issue is the drop of his business, he appeals to the religious emotions of the Ephesians. And he tells them that Paul said that any man-made God is no God at all. And because Paul has led all these people to Jesus, his teachings could eventually lead to the destruction of Diana and her temple, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So Demetrius stirs this mob up, and then he leads them to the amphitheater. And this crowd has what you often see in a crowd mentality. I don't even think they really know why they're going where they're going, but the crowd's going. So what do? We see where the crowd's going. They're there, and this local Jew named Alexander is trying to speak to the mob, but the people are trying to shut him down. But he continues, and he argues that Paul has done absolutely nothing that he's being accused of, and eventually he sends the crowd home. Paul then writes a letter to the Romans in preparation for his stay there in Rome. And this letter in Rome, as we've talked about a lot, it's different from most of the other letters that Paul has written, because most of the letters that we read in the New Testament are responses to different situations. Paul is well aware of his message of the faith in God's grace has been unaccepted in many different areas. So Paul feels that it's necessary to give a full explanation of the gospel as he understands it. And what you should always remember in reading the letter to Romans is this is a church that Paul didn't found this church. In fact, he had never even visited the church when the letter was written. When Paul writes this letter, Christian churches are no longer mainly Jewish, and Paul knows of all this tension that is being built in the church between the Jews and the Gentile Christians, and he expects the same to be true in Rome. Paul's presentation of the gospel of the book of Romans continues to be a very helpful tool even still today, especially when people are trying to direct the church back into the bondage of legalism. The book of Romans probably has more influence on the development of the Christian church more than any of the other at least 12 New Testament books that Paul wrote. We're going to spend a little time this evening finishing up Acts 19. There's a couple of verses there at the end just for thought if you get that far in your discussions today. And if you'll pray with me, we'll go ahead and pass that out and let you start your discussions. Our dear Heavenly Father, God, we come to you today, and God, we're thankful for another day you've blessed us with. And God, we're thankful for the rain that you're providing, and we ask that if it be your will that you send more rain to this area. God, we are thankful for this church and this family and what this church means to each other, to the community. And God, always help us to strive to shine your light in every aspect of this community so others may be drawn to you. God, we're thankful for the book of Acts, and we're thankful for the examples throughout your word that was left for us. And God, I just ask that you be with us now as we begin to open up your word and discuss some of the things that we've talked about tonight. I pray that you're glorified through that time. God, we're thankful mostly for Jesus, and it's in his name I pray.